This is a Squidge and Pop Shadow workshop. Shadows are so much fun. Right, before I put the sheet away, we're going to play a quick game. It's Guess the Activity. How many can you get right? Are you ready? How did you do? Let's have a quick tidy up and then I'll give you the answers. How did you do in our Guessing the Activity game? Okay, the first activity that I was doing was playing the recorder. The second activity was watering the plants. The third one was bouncing and balancing the pumpkin. There were 3, 4. I can't even remember my numbers. There were definitely 4. Oh, it was the glasses. How did you do? Okay, let's quickly put all of this stuff away and put the pumpkin back. And we'll get ready to do a shadow puppet theatre. Let's get creative. I'm going to get my making clothes on. Not this! That's better. Right, shadow puppet theatre. You're going to need a few things for this activity. A cardboard box, a shoebox is good. You're going to need some scissors. You'll need pegs, some sellotape, and you're going to need something to create a screen. So you could use tissue paper or you could use a bedsheet. Ooh. Something that's going to help let the light come through. So you're going to need a lamp too. Got my bedside lamp and it can move, this one, but it really doesn't matter. You could even use a torch. So you'll see that this makes the light come through really nicely and you'll be able to create a shadow on top of your screen. So let's go on to making our shadow theatre. Now I'm going to cheat because I saw a really good tutorial on the Poole Lighthouse page and it was done by my friend Jo and she made a really brilliant cardboard shoebox theatre. I've made my own and slightly different to hers. I've used a bed sheet and I've used clamps, but I've also used a peg. And this helps make the screen nice and tight because you really want it to be as tight as possible so the light can go through and there's no movement of the screen. I've cut out a top and I've got an entrance at the back. Now, let's pop it up and get the light source to go through and see how our theatre looks today. Hopefully that looks really good and you can make shadows. Great, so that's working. I'm just going to move it over slightly. And now, this is the really fun bit, and it's making our story come to life. I'm going to put the link for the video at the bottom of the video today, so you can go and find how to make the shoebox theatre. Okay, so here's some of my characters for my story. What could be the inspiration for your story? My story was the great Dorset pumpkin hunt. And I'm really inspired because I felt a little bit sad about not being able to go trick-or-treating with my family this year. So the idea is that you're going to go and look for pumpkins that are inside of everyone's windows. Just like it was with rainbows at the time of lockdown, everyone's putting pumpkins into their windows. So I got inspired to write a poem, and the poem starts like this. Oh, I have a thrilling thought of how to make Halloween a sport. With my feet I do tiptoe, seeking out every window. So with that I started making my shapes. So I cut out some feet, and I wanted to see how my feet would look across the Shadow Puppet Theatre. It looked really great. So I started making the characters and the set and the scene. And I thought I'd show you how to do it. So for this bit, you'll need some cardboard, something that won't let the light come through to cast a real shadow. Some scissors, a pencil, and your character. And I'm going to do a pumpkin for the Great Dorset Pumpkin Hunt. Pumpkin, what does it look like? It's quite bulbous and it has a stalk at the top. So I'm going to draw a stalk first, and then I'm going to make my pumpkin. Pumpkins have got spooky eyes. You can make them however you want them. And a nose. And I'm going to make a jagged mouth. It's a bit tricky to get the sharp edges when you're cutting out the middle parts of the shape. So a good top tip is to use some dough. Where's my dough gone? Here it is. Some dough or something squidgy, maybe some blue tack. And you're going to pop it underneath. Make sure you protect the surfaces underneath, but you could even use a tray as well. So I'm going to use the sharp edge of the scissors and just poke it through, wiggle it around, and that means I've got a hole to start from. And then you can just start cutting your edges. Now with Shadow Puppet Theatre, you really want your edges to be really sharp and defined if you want to create the story to be sharp and clear. I'm going to go on to one that I made earlier, just for the sake of things. I'm going to finish cutting out my pumpkin here. Pop out the eye. Oh, be careful. And you can see that the edges are really sharp and defined. And I've also just made a little extra window of light to pop through, so it makes it more like 3D shape. Let's pop it in. Okay, so as it's far away from the light source, it's not very clear, but as you move it closer, the shadow starts coming up. Okay, so you can see that it didn't stay on, so you might need some rods. You could use an old coat hanger, or I've used cardboard and I've just cut out a thing. This one's really cool, the ghost. If I'm going to move the ghost up close to the window, it looks a little bit like it's appearing as a real ghost. This part of the story is, my ghostly guardian looks sickly grim, my basket of candy filled to the brim. Right, the inspiration for that is when you get a piece of candy, when you see the pumpkins in the window, hopefully your ghostly guardian, or just your guardian, will pop some candy into your basket so it's full up to the brim. Because we're not trick-or-treating this year, we're still going to have fun, and it's going to be a bit different, and I think it's going to work out pretty cool. So you can see that this one is a bit different. We've had to be really clear with how we're propping it up. So if I turn it around, you can see the back side of the story. Okay, so I've got a lollipop stick here that I've stuck on with double-sided tape, and then I've got a piece of cardboard that is going to allow the shape to be animated. Oh, I'm going to use my teeth to hold this. Oh no, I just broke it. Be very careful, it's very, very delicate. It'll be fine to fix the tissue tape. There you go, push it up. Basket of candy filled to the brim. I'll fix that, ready for the video in a minute. See what happens. Okay, so, I wanted to show you about setting the scene as well. So, I've got a window here, my house. You can see that the pumpkins are in the window. Let's pop it in. I want to put it right up to the screen, and I've put some double-sided sticky tape in the rim of the cardboard box, and it stays in place. Hunting for glowing lanterns. Faces carved in harvest pumpkins. Okay, so we've got that scene set, a house, and I just wanted to give you a quick top tip on how to do the house windows. It's sellotape. Put the sellotape across, and I've cut out the pumpkins, and it's in place. And I've also used a bit of black electrical tape, and I've cut it so it's a nice straight line, and then I can cut it out like this, and that means it's going to be sticky in the right place. You can make your window frames, and it just makes it really beautiful and really defined. It's a really good top tip. Okay, there's two more scenes that we had. We had the lampposts, because I live in an urban area, there's lots of lampposts everywhere, and so we used that as part of the story. And we also made trees animated. So you can see that I wanted to add something. When it didn't go quite right, or the tree didn't look full enough, I just kept adding to it and sticking. Because it's a shadow, no one will actually know. And then, so we animated the story, it moved. And then we wanted some leaves to blow. So we just used some tissue paper. And it was like autumn leaves falling in the wind. We have no fear, we may look strange. October comes, seasons change. We have no fear, we may look strange. So it's really fun to use shadows and storytelling. What story are you going to create, and how are you going to make it? Are you going to do it on the wall with a light in a shadow puppet theatre? Or, one more top tip, you may know that I'm a bubbleologist and I love to use bubbles and shadow storytelling on bubbles. So I'll give you a quick demonstration of how to do that, and then we'll go to the dark room. Quick tidy up. A lovely, splendid, clean table. Okay. I've got a really cool shadow storytelling box here. This is a really useful box. It's from the Really Useful Box Company, and it's really useful because it's got a really flat lid, and that's great for telling stories on. I got a plastic wine glass and another glass, it's Halloweeny. Got pond lights. Now I love pond lights, especially for bubble making, because they're waterproof. And these ones got a remote control, and they go in lots of different colours. So if you wanted to do it in a certain colour, maybe pumpkin orange, you can create your stories with the right colour. But I prefer it to be multicoloured and just changing colours. Now, you want something for the lights to reflect on. So I've got some tin foil at the bottom of the box. Pop the lights in, pop the lid on. I've got bubble solution from the shop. It's a good quality shop. I've got bubble solution from the shop. That's good quality. Or if you want a really good recipe, you can pop over to squidgeandpop.com, where you'll find all of our video tutorials, including the shadow light storytelling box. You're going to need some stencils to pop on top of your bubble. So you're not going to pop it on top of the bubble, you're going to put it on top of the box, and it will reflect onto the bubble. Now, this one will work. It's great, it's cardboard, but it will disintegrate really fast. So I recommend that you laminate it so you can use it over and over again if the bubble solution gets onto it. Let's clip the lid on. Let's test it out. To make sure that your bubbles stick to the surface that you're trying to create, you're going to wet the bottom of wherever you're sticking a bubble onto. Get a straw, blow it, a bubble. And what's absolutely brilliant about shadow storytelling on bubbles is that wherever you put your shadow on top of the box, or your stencil on top of a light over on the box, it will reflect into the bubble. And it will work really well in a dark room. Let's go to a dark room and really try this out. I want to do a clothes change. What am I thinking? Meow! Welcome to the dark room. Our spooky Halloween story starts appearing in our bubble. I'm going to add a bat to the story. I'm just going to give you a quick tutorial about how to make the bubble. Now the cup is wet, and I use a plastic cup. And when I blow a bubble, I move the straw away from the size of the bubble. My breath is slow and steady. If you want an extra challenge, you could wet the bottom of another cup and make a caterpillar. Our spooky story continues. And our bats and pumpkins appear in the bubble. How else could you change your great pumpkin story or spooky Halloween story today? I'm going to change the story. Now you can sometimes narrate it, or you can just do it as a silent puppet story. Staying in a bubble, not being any trouble. My ghostly guardian looks sickly grim. Let's go back to the yellow room. We have come to the end of our shadow storytelling theatre today. I hope that you have got lots of ideas about how you can make your own story, and we're really excited to see what you come out with. Remember that you can make shadows on walls, shadows on sheets, shadows on bubbles, and you can even make your own theatre. We've got one last treat for you for our Halloween special. Let the show begin, and we'll see you again soon.
Oh, I have a thrilling thought of how to make Halloween a sport. With my feet I do tiptoe, seeking out every window. hunting for glowing lanterns, faces carved in harvest pumpkins. My ghostly guardian looks sickly grim, basket of candy filled to the brim. October comes, seasons change. We have no fear, we may look strange. Trick or treat, keeping our distance. We'll have fun with no resistance. Staying in a bubble, not being any trouble. Being strong, feeling mindful, even if your gown looks truly frightful.